So, hi everyone, welcome to the new session. Today we are going to talk about the overview of a data product. So, what you can see right in front of you is an STM document or a data document that you would receive or you might have information on before starting a project. So, in my earlier video, as I explained, that when you first conceptualize the idea of a dashboard, basically what you do is you do data investigation. So, when you finalize the view that you want to have in your dashboard, you'll go back to your data repositories and you'll start digging in that what kind of information is available. So if you want to make a view, let's say if you want to track international customer, so basically what you need to have is information on the nationality and the residency of the customer, so you can figure out whether he or she is a native of the country or he or she is a foreigner, right? So in terms to do that, you need to have that kind of information. So what you see right in front of you is a basic data definition table that provides information on KPI or variable. What is the definition of that? Location would be on which kind of server is it residing. I've simply mentioned down the path for my system. Okay, it can be DB2, it can be Oracle, it can be Google Cloud Platform. So it can be an on-prem server or a cloud server. It can be SharePoint location, etc., etc. And then you have source. So source is nothing but the name of the file or the data set or the table in which the information is present. And logic use. So logic used is nothing but, let's say I have this KPI called ID and I want to get the customer ID out of it. It's alphanumeric, so it has customer code and it has customer ID, right? So I have ABC, I have 123. So ABC 123, and what I want is 123. What I'll do is I'll use a substring and extract that information out of it, right? So I've used some kind of logic, I've used some kind of data operation. So if I've done something of such kind, I can mention here, right? Moving on to the next part. So when we are talking about a simple data dashboard in terms of customer information, so these are the few components that you would require information on, right? And this is strictly for a financial institute or financial organizations. So first thing you would require is demographic information of the customer, which would comprise of KYC details, which being name of the customer, age of the customer, social security number, it can be Aadhaar card, NA, or some other kind of information, phone numbers, email address, and education, right? So why do we need this information? So we can cross validate, if the customer is trustworthy or not, or whether this social security number is valid or not, so there is no fake information available. Email address and phone numbers to communicate with the customers, to send out different kind of promotional offers over phone calls or emails. Education, we need to know what kind of segment the customer fits in, whether customer has completed his education like in you know early 90s, late 90s, early 2000, 2000, late 2000s. We can know what kind of financial status the customer could be, or what kind of mindset the customer would have, right? Then we have nationality, residency. So this is nothing but nationality being the customer, being the national of which country, country. Then residency. It's highly possible that if it's a if it's an international customer, the nationality would be different and the residency would be different. Then employment type. What kind of employment is it? A permanent? Is it temporary? Then employer. What kind of employer does it have? So there are a top Fortune 500 companies, then we have local vendors, and then you have some independent business. So we have some kind of rating for that kind of structure as well. So we need to know what kind of employment the customer has. Then we have marital status, simply just to know whether the customer is dependent, or have information on the spouse. Is the spouse working, right? Then we have salaried or retired or business owner. So we can have a flag or information where the customer is a salaried customer, is retired, is getting pension, or is it a business owner, right? And then the other thing what we want to know would be dependency, for what kind of dependency the customer has. Okay, whether, as we have marital status, has parents, dependent parents, has kids, right? Homeowner, what kind of collateral does the customer have? Education gap, Has the customer has any kind of education gap, employment gap? Has the customer being employed continuously, right? That kind of information. Why do we need this information? To examine the risk of lending out. What is the probability of customer being default, right? This kind of information can help me make that kind of decision, right? Then we have product level information. So when we are talking about product level information, by that I mean that what type of product that the customer has. Is it a saving account? Is it a current account? Is it a credit card? It's a mortgage loan? Is it a you know education loan? Then we have number of product. Highly possible single customer can own multiple product. I'm a a customer of so and so bank. I have a debit card, I have a credit card, I have a salaried account, I have home loan, I have a car loan, right? So one single customer can have multiple product. We need to track down how the customer is performing in respect of different products. So what we can do is either we can upsell. If the customer is just owning the credit card, we know the customer is making payments on time, has a good spend ratio, right? What we can do is we can pitch him. So we have a customized loan as per your, spend and good relationship with the bank. We have a customized car loan for you, which is less than 0.5% in respect of other banks. There you go. The customer agrees to buy that product. You have acquired customer into a different portfolio as well. Then we have upgrade and downgrade. So upgrade and downgrade is more or so on the customer account level. Let's say we have premier, non-premier, and card only customer. So we have different kind of customers. I'm just giving you an example. So if a customer has moved down from a lower preposition to a higher preposition, the customer has upgraded. Then we have downgrade. So what do you mean by downgrade? Downgrade is simply opposite of upgrading. Let's say, a customer, let's say for so and so bank, if you want to be a premier customer, you need to have at least $10,000 minimum at any given point of time, right? And average of your total relationship balance with the bank should always be higher than $10,000. But due to some circumstances for past 3 continuous months, the customer is not able to maintain that. What would happen? The customer will get downgraded, right? Then we have product balances. Then if the customer has multiple products, there would be different kind of balances, right? Similar goes for product revenue. Transaction product. So what kind of transaction? If customer is a card owner, how often is the customer making the transaction? If the customer has a loan, how often does the customer is paying back? We have a track of EMIs, right? We have a track of monthly payments. Is the customer regular or not, right? Then we have card balances, we loan balances. This is something very specific to the kind of product the customer is holding. Okay. Then we have delinquency. So this is something interesting, and any one of you who is looking to work in credit risk space, or risk portfolio, delinquency is something you'll come across. Delinquency is nothing but, let's say we have a customer who has a payment towards the bank, and the customer has missed on the payment and it's been past 30 days. So the customer would be T plus 1 delinquent. Then again, past 60 days, T plus 2, T plus 3, T plus 4, T plus 5, and T plus 6. And then the customer goes into, collections or charge off. But it can be different for different banking organization, different setups for different organizations. So this is just an example. Then what do we want to see? We want to see whether the customer has defaulted in last 3 months. Okay, not good. Whether the customer has defaulted in last 6 months. No, very good. So defaulted in 6 months and defaulted in 3 months. So 3 months would be a subset of defaulted in 6 months only, right? Then again, what do we have? The other kind of information we have is revenue information. So we have overall revenue and overall balances. When we are talking about revenue, that in that case, what we are talking about. So whenever we talk about revenue, there are two key components that comprises together to create revenue. So first thing is the fee. The second thing is the interest. So let's talk about the first thing. So we have different kind of fees. When you take a loan, there is a processing fee, right? When you buy a credit card, you have a yearly maintenance fee. You're given an offer that, if you spend so and so, your yearly fee would be waived off. So that is how bank makes money, right? And then interest. So when you take a loan, there is a certain amount of interest you're paying, and initially what you're doing is your principal amount is your principal and your interest amount is divided, and the interest ratio is on the higher end. So let's say if you're paying an EMI for 5,000, right? So basically you're paying 1,800 to 2,000 rupees for your principal amount, rest goes out of your interest, right? So that's that. Then what is overall total relationship balance? As I informed, like different bank have different set of limits that the customer should maintain. Let's say 10k, let's say 5k, let's say 2k of minimum balance. If you're not able to maintain that balance, a certain amount of money is deducted out of the account, right? Yeah, so that is the total relationship balance. So what kind of total relationship is the customer maintaining? If he or she is maintaining over and above what he or she is required to, you might get upgraded. If you're not able to maintain the minimum of what you are supposed to maintain, you might get downgraded. So this kind of information can help us uh, make that kind of flags or that kind of decisions. Then we have revenue information. So then we have customer profitability. What do you understand by customer profitability? Customer profitability is basically how much is the customer profitable for the bank, right? So we have different kind of cost. As you can see, cost to bank, cost to customer, acquisition cost. So when we are talking about customer profitability, whatever the cost has occurred to the bank, right? Whatever the cost the bank has occurred, the money bank has paid, and then what kind of revenue the customer is making, and what kind of profit is coming out of it. Using all these factors, we can calculate the customer profitability. Then cost to bank. What kind of cost we have? We have acquisition cost, right? We make phone calls, we send you SMS, right? So these are things that cost to bank. Obviously, you pay fee, but when you are waived off, or you are a premier customer, there are certain things over and above that the bank would do for you in order to acquire a customer. So there is something called acquisition cost, and then there are certain things that is cost to bank. Simply the maintenance fee for your credit card, that's a cost to customer. If you want to have a duplicate card, there is a certain amount of fee that you would have to pay. If you want to get another checkbook, there's certain amount of fee you have to pay. If you want to get a certain kind of checkbook, there would be certain kind of amount that the customer has to pay. So that is basically what cost to customer. Then we have total interest and total fee. That is, as I you know explained you earlier, two very important component that comprises of customer revenue, right? Now we come to the final component, that is activity. We need to track the activity of the customer in order to get any kind of behavioral data, and to understand and to strategize that this customer could be put in this segment, this customer could be put in this product. Let's say I have a customer who or she is highly active digitally, lot of transactions through digital platform. Then we can dig deep on those platform. Are those shopping websites? Are those trading website? Are those gambling website? Irrespective of the information, we can strategize, we can target those customers for that kind of product. We can send them, boom, this customer is active, digitally active on Amazon a lot. What we can do is, there we go, we have a discount. If you buy so and so product through our card using Amazon, you get 10% cash back, right? That is how it goes. Then the activity flag, how often is the customer active? I have a customer, the total relationship balance is good. Every month there is a salary that is being credited, and the customer only makes one transaction in the entire month, right? Customer doesn't make transaction for past 3 months, the money is floating in, right? So we have this activity active flag. Then we have, is the customer inactive? Is nothing coming in or going out? Whatever was kept in the bank is as it is, no transaction, right? Then we have product use. What kind of product customer is using more often? If the customer is making 20 transactions, what how much percentage of those transactions is what product? We can get that information. Then activity, as I said, is it a digital branch level activity? Has the customer requested for any kind of request? In addition to this, what we can do is we can add complaints data. So complaints, what is complaints? Simply, customer opted for a service, customer didn't like the service, so customer liked the service, and the customer has given some kind of feedback, right? So that all comes across that. Now, as now you have understood the different components, let's go and talk about how would this look. So as you can see in front of you, I've created a simple data model in which you can see you have a master data set, and then you have these different tables, different sources from which you are getting this information. So this first one being demographic information, customer ID, nationality, residency, right? How would it help us? If we want to see how many international customers we have, we need to know the nationality and residency, right? If we want to see how many people we have that are on payroll, that are salaried, what we can do is we have this flag, we have employer type, we have employer name, right? Then what is other information that we have? We have the KYC information of customer ID, name, social security, phone number, email address, right? Then we have customer dependency information, collateral information, educational information, right? This all floats in directly to our master data set. Then we have product level information. But you can see that with product level information, there is something which is bridging it directly with the master data set. It is not directly floating into the master data set. Why so? Let me give you an example. Let's say my customer ID is ABC underscore 123, right? But I have three different products. So I would have a different product ID for three. So my alone single customer ID would have three different product IDs as well. So I need to have a mapping of that also. So what is happening that I am getting all the product level information using the product ID that is mapped with the customer ID in this table. And then using this information, I'm directly connecting it to my master data set. Same goes for the account ID as well. Let's say I have a saving account. Let's say I have a trading account as well. My customer ID would remain same because I've opened the same under one customer ID, but my account ID differs. And I want to get all this information together. What I will do is I'll have a mapping, a bridge table, right? That would help us to get that information without having redundancy in data or counting the customer or the product or the account twice or thrice in this case. So this is something that you do when you want to create a simple dashboard which would give you information on customer acquisition, customer behavior, revenue, upgrade, downgrade, different kind of diaspora you can create out of this. So feel free to use this, try to create a dashboard with all these variables, these KPIs, and see for yourself. So guys, this is all for today. And in our next segment, we are planning to start with Power BI basics. Okay, just to get you started, how to do some hands-on work that is being done live in industry. So please let us know in the comment section if you like this content. And I'm really sorry I've not been regular, and I'm trying hard to maintain time. So thank you guys. Happy learning. Bye bye.